Hey everyone, it's a VM Campos analog film photography fan. I've got another video for you. This is going to be a gear video, a film stock video, a process video, and a buy my stuff video. I'm going to show you this photo that I took, what I used to capture the image, how I processed it, and now it's available for you to buy all over the world. Support old VM Campos in his growing film habit by buying his prints once in a while at very affordable prices. Check down here. But before the sales pitch, let's talk about gear. So I used this beautiful Konica Auto S2 from 1960 something, 65 or something. I'll put it on the screen here. It just smells vintage. That's probably the mold and toxins and such. But it's a 35mm rangefinder camera. It's very compact. It doesn't have the big old pentaprism at the top here. It's a rangefinder, so you see the little split focus screen there. This is the Auto S, which introduced automatic exposure features. You set your shutter speed and it'll then calculate your f-stop for you. The battery system, however, doesn't work, so the auto exposure system doesn't work. Yes, I tried different types of batteries, they don't work, it's shorted out, it probably needs to be resoldered or something. I don't quite have that skill at the moment. But, of course it works at fully manual. Full control of your shutter speed, your f-stop, and your focus. So it works as a completely manual camera as well. It's also got this built-in like little lens hood, that's cool. And what glass are we running? Well, we've got a Hexanon 1.8 45mm lens, so it's not quite normal at 50, close enough. 1.8 can suck up a lot of light if necessary, and then of course works best at f16 or so, f8 or so for the hyperfocal distance and all of that good stuff. I really like the heft to it. I bought a strap for it aftermarket. It didn't come with it. It came with the cap, and that's my gear. As for the film stock, well, I had this expired Fujifilm 400, Fuji Superia 400, that expired back in 2009. Beautiful vintage. This is back when they were selling them at 24 exposures. Oh, those were the days, the bad old days. And then it would come with one pack of 36 exposures. Amazing. Now back in the day, of course, when you were getting your photos printed, it cost more to process 36 exposures versus 24 exposures. Nowadays it's all the same cost, so you might as well go with the 36 exposures. Yeah, back in the old days when this Fujifilm ruled the roost. I don't remember what this cost at all back in the day. If you do, put it in the comments. I shot it at box speed, developed at normal. Negatives came out pretty nice overall, with some tweaks, of course. Now, wait a minute, this is a color film, and I'm selling my prints as black and white. That's right, this process video is also going to show you how to convert your color images into beautiful black and white images in the example that I've got in this video. So let's move on over to the computer and see what I need to do to bring you some beautiful images. Okay, briefly, my scanner setup is I'm using this old, also I think vintage 2009 Primefilm scanner. That company is not around anymore, I think. I don't know, I didn't really look at it. I didn't really research it. It tops out at 3600 DPI and only 16-bit color. It's relatively slow, but it actually is better quality than the other scanner that I have, which is a flatbed scanner with a film adapter. These dedicated ones are often better quality. And I'm just scanning this just completely raw as a positive image. Yes, it's a color image. Yes, you can scan it as a negative, but then you have to deal with profiles and so forth. Here's my first pro tip. Just scan your negatives as a positive, as if you're scanning a slide. Turn off all of the extra details, gamma correction and restoration of color and all of that. Just scan it completely raw as is. There's a larger preview of it. And yeah, I like the results of the scan. Got some good density everywhere in the shadows and the highlights. It is a color negative, but I'm using this ultimately to go black and white. So we'll take this into Photoshop and then turn it into a beautiful black and white image. Now, I know a lot of people just swear by Lightroom to do all of this processing. I don't know Lightroom, but I'm able to create a workflow here in Photoshop that creates a result that I like, and that's what I'm going to share to you. Now, of course, we can just do the plain old reverse colors, and we can start to work with the color image and boost up the contrast and all of that. Well, we don't want to deal with a color image. We want to work with, we want to create a black and white image. So I've loaded up here. Step 1, let me move myself over here because I'm going to block some important stuff. So we're going to deal with non-destructive adjustment layers. First of all, a levels adjustment, so I can hit a few important points of color. I'm going to go with the sample the white point and hit the border. Now remember, we've got here a negative, so everything is backwards. We're through the looking glass. So I'm hitting the white point on this spot right here, which will be the darkest point once the image is inverted. Then after that, to pull in every bit of detail, I'm going to go into each of the channels, red, green, and blue channels, and then do this trick where you hold down Alt and bring in the black slider and drag it to the right. Now what you're trying to do is you're trying to bring to life that channel as soon as it hits data. Now you could eyeball it by just dragging it over to a certain point, and that's actually deceptive because depending on the various colors of the various channels, you're not going to get what you think. So it is better to hold down Alt, click and drag that over. On the Mac, it's some other key combination. I forget what they are on the Mac at the moment. Sorry, you can look it up. I'll put it on the screen here maybe if I'm not too lazy. You're going to drag it over until you start to see a kiss of result, a just touch of it. You've gone too far if you see that much. You're going to start to see some amount of detail. And then so I've fixed the dark point in the red channel. The bright point, the light point might have already been fixed for you once you hit the eyedropper. You still might have to tweak it however you like it. It might get fooled by the edge of the film, so just go into some amount there where you're just like touching the first few pixels. Yes, it's going to be a little tedious, but that's the great thing about photography, that you can be completely creative with it. Notice here in the green channel, I'm starting to pull detail from different parts of the image, so of course it's just going to be a touch of green pixels in that channel, and even some of these intermediary steps just create some beautiful results in weird colors. So over here, just touch it right around there. Then finally on blue, we're going to bring it in just about over here, up on the sky area, right about there, and then the white point is right there. Alright, so before and after, here's my negative so far. Now because it's a negative and I want it as a positive, I'm going to go over to another non-destructive layer and add invert. Okay, so that brings it into color. Cool, if I wanted to work with the color image, I'm done right here, or do other things. Next step over here. Add another adjustment layer and go into black and white. Okay, so we got a version of black and white with various presets here. We can keep it just as is with defaults, these various values, tweak the values on your own if you wish. Sometimes it's interesting to go to these other filters and just see what results happen and what you kind of like. I often like a red filter. Now here I am losing detail in the sky plus the building. So I could tweak the individual values or just try some of the preset values, and then you might find a result like maximum black where you're seeing definitions of things. So here is completely up to you, where you're creating your original image, your hard work in bringing your vision to life to the masses in a beautiful print. This is really nice. Again, I can compare it with the default maximum black, and then I kind of like the high contrast filters once in a while. High contrast red, it's going to depend on the subject. High contrast blue, that's extremely weird, but you do you if you like that. And then there's others, greens and yellows, that's kind of interesting too. So you could at some point pick one of these preset filters and you might be done. But let me show you yet another trick over here. This one is so secret I hesitate to reveal it, but I'll reveal it to you because you're part of the VMC crew when you watch my videos. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate all of my edits into a brand new layer. So I'm going to select, shift-click everything, and I'm sure there's a menu item somewhere to do it, but I just do it manually on the keyboard, Control-Shift-Alt-E. That duplicates all those layers into one layer, so now this is now permanent in that one layer. All my other edits are still there, but I just wanted a version that is just flat like this, because this next step you cannot do it as an adjustment layer. You have to go over to Image, Adjustment, and I wish it was an adjustment layer, but it's a sort of a permanent thing. And you go over to Equalize. Now, depending on your image, that is going to create some amazing results. I've seen some results that are just astounding to me by going to equalize, and I've seen some results that are horrific when you equalize. So what is the magic that is happening here? Well, on my original image histogram, this is the curve. You can see here, there's not a lot of dark pixels, there's a lot of bright pixels. Equalize, what it's doing is it's trying to take some equal amount of images, of pixels throughout the whole image, kind of distribute it all over the place. See that result right there? It's a little bit of everything all over the place. And you might think that equalization might flatten the image in a way if you're putting some amount of equal pixels throughout the whole image. Actually not. A lot of times it gets really interesting, beautiful results, I dare say. In color, it's a lot weirder. In black and white, it is often amazing. You cannot do that by having the original adjustment layers. If I bring back how that was before, you can still go back and further tweak things, and it's kind of close in kind of maximum black. See here, equalize maximum black. It's a different result, and you can get this, of course, manually. This is like the classic days of old when you were developing your negatives in Rodinal and you went to your Besser and larger and everything and just doing it all manually. Shout out to Shoot Film Like a Boss. I really like that YouTube channel, really inspiring. And he does a lot of processing after shooting the photo. So it just cracks me up when people would say, well, digital imaging, it's Photoshop, it's cheating. No, you see all of this work and effort that I'm doing just like in the days of old, but just in a digital way. And here's the end result. I want to zoom in, get a lot of the details here. I really liked the scan. And you can see this beautiful grain on this expired Fuji Superia 400 color film, just bringing up all of this beautiful grain. That's of course part of the aesthetic of analog film photography. Got details everywhere, even in some of the big highlights. We saw that color cast that was affecting the image in color, which you could further tweak in color and get it out of the way. But in black and white, that bright red flash just basically goes away. There's still a little bit of, I don't know what happened on the camera there. There's still some amount of a light leak, but yeah, in the end result, this I think is a beautiful image with its characteristics, and there's enough sharpness to it, range of colors and tones, shot of this beautiful building. I'm proud of this, and I'm putting it up on my darkroom account. vmcampos.darkroom.tech is where this print will be available in a variety of sizes and prints. And there you go, that was my video. Did you enjoy my photo? Don't forget to click down there on my link to buy a print all for yourself. It'll look great on your wall, I guarantee it. Not a guarantee. What did you think about my gear? Do you like these old classic rangefinders, these Japanese rangefinders? I know I really enjoyed them, and even without a fully functional light meter, going by the Sunny 16 rule or a handheld light meter or an app, you can get great exposures. So once again, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell, battle the Minotaur, do all the good stuff. Click that join button on YouTube to subscribe to the channel and keep it funded, keep it going. Perhaps give a one-time thanks. A thanks is way better than a like, because it's monetary. Help the channel out. Us creators love creating content for you, but we also like to get back from you a little bit here and there once in a while. Give us your spare change. You can also head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos if you'd like to pledge there. In any event, I hope you liked the video, learned something from it, share it, I would really appreciate it. This has been VM Campos, and I'll see you in the dark room.